We're live.
When we going live, chat? We're live now.
We've been live for like 2 seconds.
All right, let's go. What's going on, world? And welcome to the 7th episode of the Quadcast. I'm your host, Andrew, alongside Evchay and John, as we embark on another exciting episode where we'll talk about what's trending this week, as well as speak with an exciting guest to fulfill the Quadcast. As always, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Quadcast, where you can watch our podcast each Monday, or you can watch us live stream on Evan's Twitch titled Evchay. Evan and John, a big welcome to both of you, and a very special welcome to our guest this evening to the Quadcast. He is a former University of Virginia Cavalier, a Baltimore Oriole relief pitcher, a Governor Thomas Johnson High School alumni, and probably the only verified person on social media we will ever get on this Quadcast. We welcome Brandon Klein. BK, how are you?
What's going on, guys? Blue check marks for Dave.
And now, out of the bullpen, right-hand pitcher. He's number 52 in your programs and number 1 in your hearts. It's Brandon Klein! Tonight I'm a sports broadcaster. However, I realized that I know nothing about sports. So,
hey, you did a good job. That was exactly
fantastic.
Whatever. Yep.
Honestly, I thought you did better than so many other announcers.
Hey, BK.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me on, man. I think we've been trying to do this for a while. It's glad that our schedules finally kind of linked up and able to come here and chat with you fellas and be part of the Quadcast. I'm pumped about it.
Happy to have you.
That's right. So BK, just to give you a little insight into what we do, we take a kind of an approach here. John actually does a score tally here. I know you're a fan of the show, but just want to give you some insight. It's very official. He's got his documentation there and everything. He adds up all the points at the end and announces a winner. So
Sweet.
Depending, no free ads, composition book.
I have one question before we start this tallying. John, what's your Venmo?
I actually don't take any type of bribe, and it insults me that you ask. So, minus 5 points.
Minus 5 points.
For
We have
bribe.
very, very strong ethics here at the Quadcast.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, BK, like we said, welcome to the Quadcast. But just so the listeners that don't know, tell us a little bit about yourself, about your story, and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously you three know me. We grew up together. Spent a lot of good times together. But for those that don't, from Frederick, Maryland, I was a graduate of Governor Thomas Johnson with all three of you in 2009. I was fortunate. I was fortunate to get an athletic scholarship to pitch at the University of Virginia, where I was able to pitch in the College World Series in 2011. I was actually an All-American in 2011. I made the All-ACC team in 2011 as a relief pitcher, and then actually in 2012 I made the All-ACC team as a starter, which was pretty cool. I was fortunate in 2012 to get drafted by the Baltimore Orioles in the second round, so I left early. Spent about 7 seasons in the minors, 3 of which were lost due to injury. I was actually finally able to make my major league debut on March 20th of 2019 against the Minnesota Twins. And then I spent the parts of 2019 and then also this past season, 2020, pitching for Baltimore. So that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, man, it was such a cool thing to see you do that and kind of realistically live out your dream. I am going to kind of jump in here, though, because I realized there was one thing you didn't include in there. But it was actually in 2009, you were drafted out of high school, and you were actually drafted at senior week when we were at the beach. So that was a pretty sick time.
That was an amazing moment.
That was really cool.
Oh, man. Yeah, I actually completely forgot about that, too. Yeah, I got drafted in the 6th round by Boston. And I remember everybody was at the beach. I stayed back with Sarah. We stayed back at the beach house just waiting. And I got a phone call saying, yeah, hey, we've selected you in the 6th round with Boston. I was like, sweet. And then I ended up coming to the beach and like, hey, I just got drafted.
And I thought I was rich.
What was like the feeling going through your head at that moment, like getting that call? You know, you're down at the beach with all your friends. Just all I can think of is it must have been ecstatic.
Oh, it was just the unknown of like, what the heck do I do now? I've like up until that point, I never met anybody that got drafted. Really, I never even thought about the process of like, okay, like getting drafted and then like potentially signing for a bunch of money and then like missing out on school and then going to play. At that point, you're like your senior week or with your friends, you just graduated high school. Like I'm 17,
So
I'm just
young,
going, like,
so young. You're not even an adult.
yeah, it's like what's going on? What do I do? It's like, all right, well let's just party and let's hang out. I mean, so and I forget which day of the week it was, but those next 2 or 3 days were so much fun. The entire week was a blast down there. But those next 2 or 3 days were so much fun that we can't even talk about right now.
Dude, your draft party was awesome.
You're so young when you first got drafted. I'm actually kind of curious. Did you have like a mentor that kind of like guide you and like to like helped you out to like make that decision?
Oh yeah, for sure. So at the time, I used a pitching coach or had a pitching coach. Who's still one of my good friends, Mark Shives, over in Clear Spring in Maryland, and he was kind of one of the guys that I leaned on a lot just from the process because he played professionally for a little bit, played in college, and just kind of like, hey, like what to expect, what not to expect, like give me like the good and the bad, pros and cons. So being able to bounce ideas off of him, and then also like our coaching staff back at UVA, they did a great job being like, hey, we want to make sure that your best interest is at heart. So we've been down this path before. They introduced me to some other good people that I could kind of like bounce ideas off of. And at that point, it was just kind of like you mix that with my parents of me telling my mom, hey, I'm going to go to school. And at the end of the day, by the end of that summer, I was able to take classes at UVA. And by the end of the summer, I was like, I'm going to go to college. This is what I want to do. I want to go get my education. I want to be able to pitch for the Cavaliers. And I enjoyed all 3 years I had there. And then I was fortunate enough to then be drafted even higher, my junior year, which doesn't surprise anybody that goes to UVA. The coaching staff and the program does such a good job of developing people and developing young men. So I was very thankful for that. And then, like I said, I got my career started.
Well, there wasn't a lot to develop, BK, at least as far as I'm concerned, because I'm one of the people that got to see how hard you were working, like even at high school, at the high school level. You worked harder than I did. That's not saying much, but no. BK was an animal, though. Like, he had that drive, he had that determination. There was no doubt in anybody's mind that was around him that he was going to, whether it was college or take that offer, that draft spot from Boston. But, I mean, you got what you deserve, BK.
No, man, I appreciate it. And like it's something that you realize, like whenever you go, whether it was like college, professionally, everybody has talent. Like I showed up on campus. Obviously, at that time, UVA came off of the first season of ever going to the College World Series. They had the squad was loaded. They were a top 5 national team. Eventually, a couple it's been like 4 or 5 guys playing the big leagues from just like the 2 or 3 years I played on that team. A handful of like big league guys, one of which just won a World Series with the Dodgers this past year. So the talent was there, but the thing that especially the guys that, eventually made it, it was just the work ethic. The amount of time that they spend in the gym or in the batting cage or watching video or breaking things down, like they just lived and breathed baseball. And to this day, it's still the same thing. You watch guys in the big leagues and, everybody has talent, but it's the amount of guys that do the small details, that pay attention to those small details that are really rewarded with not only how they perform on the field, but then also the consistency. So shouldn't really shock anybody.
Talk about a competitive workforce. My goodness. I couldn't imagine being like in that kind of like competition 24/7. Even when you're sleeping, you're thinking baseball.
Yeah, it's not even like you said, Evan. Like it's not just on the baseball field, but it's off the baseball field. Like we had a small group that we did like a Madden franchise. We're talking about Madden before we even got on here. We did a Madden franchise, and the amount of competition when we play each other just in that, it just goes out. It gets through the roof. Like it's just like there's no turning it off. It's not just like it's okay. No, it's okay. It's like no, I'm gonna try to beat you 56-0. But to your credit, Evan, it gets to the point, and you can see where all sports are like this, where they're even like using things such as like sleep monitors to try to track your sleep, to try to make sure you're getting adequate sleep to just try to give you that, just like that, not even that 1%, but just like the 0.00001% edge on your opponent the next day. It's amazing what goes into the game and what you have to do, not only for, your family, but also for yourself to make sure that you're able to perform at the best or the highest level.
That's cool. I mean, you're kind of talking about different levels here too. What would you say is the best part of each level of baseball while you were playing? And you can start even as low as little league. Like you can take it from little league to high school, college, and then maybe even in the minors and then the professional level as well.
So little league by far, like the hot dog and soda after every game, like you just can't beat it. Like I'm sorry, like America, we're
concession stand.
Just the concession stand. Like whether you went 0 for 3, I'm pretty sure when I was 10 years old, I didn't get a single hit the entire year. I was terrible, and I still enjoy going to the game every day because I got a hot dog and a soda, and then sometimes we got a Freeze King right down the street too, so I get an ice cream out of it.
Oh man.
How I wasn't a 200-pound.
Yeah.
Oh seriously. How I wasn't a 200-pound 10-year-old, I don't know. I thank my mom and dad for my genetics, I guess.
I was going to say, it's almost like you have good genetics or something.
But that's really what it was. And then once I got to high school, it was really like just being able to play with your friends, like being able to enjoy. Like I got to play with John for 4 years, and it was awesome.
You just lied.
Yeah,
you were on varsity immediately, and I wasn't.
No, because remember my freshman year, I was on the JV squad with you. I would go to the varsity games and sit on the bench and just kind of hang out on the fence as a spectator. But just the relationships you're to build on the baseball field in high school, on and off the field, being able to have some crazy stories like good old Arnaldo. Remember him, John?
Yeah. I'll never forget him. I'll never forget that guy.
Arnaldo! Oh.
Was he the dude from Brooklyn?
Yep.
Yeah.
I forgot about that guy.
He was awesome. He was so cool.
Dude, it was like, it's very similar to like Little League where you just go out there and you have fun.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, you want to win, but it's like, hey, what are you doing Friday night? Like, let's do something.
Yeah.
So, and then once you get to college, it starts to get more of a job, but it's still the same where you still have like a close knit, a certain amount of guys are really close knit. Like we were that way, like all 3 years at school, we did everything together. And being able to be in like a winning culture and a winning environment, and then being able to go to like the College World Series where it's like all of a sudden, like the first time I remember in 2011 when we're playing against South Carolina, and I look up, like it's like the second or third inning that I'm pitching. I look up and I see like the third deck wrapping around, and I'm like, holy crap, there's a lot of people here. like that type of experience was just like no other. Like even like when you get to like the big leagues for the most part, you don't even get that kind of treatment. At least we don't. But it was like we had our own hotel that was all decked out in UVA, like flags and gear and whatnot. We got a police escort to the stadium every single day. Wow. With fans and everything like on both sides of the bus. Going to the stadium, obviously being able to play for a national championship is pretty cool. I can only imagine what the guys like in the NCAA tournament, like March Madness, what they go through, and how excited and how hyped they are with everything that goes on with that. But just being in that environment was just awesome. Being at the time feeling like, this is what it's like to play in the big leagues at the college level. That was by far the most fun I think I had there. And then and once you get into the minor leagues, like it's tough, but when you're going through it, and it's like stuff I think about now that I can kind of like go back and relate to, it's just the grind. The conversations you have with the guys at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when you're going from Delmarva to Rome, Georgia, and it's like a 12-hour bus ride. You just got done playing at 10 o'clock at night, and you're going down. You're stopping like midway somewhere in Carolinas at a Waffle House. Oh, man. Like, once again, it's just like the experiences. So like at the time, you're like, man, like this stinks. This is brutal. I can't wait to get to the big leagues and make a bunch of money and never have to do this again. But like once you get out of that, it's like, man, I miss the friends that I met. I miss like just that kind of like time, the freedom that you kind of have on those bus trips. So that's what I really enjoy about being in the minors. And obviously in the big leagues, it's just like you get chauffeured everywhere. It's just a different level. You stay at like five-star hotels everywhere you go. private jets, like I shouldn't say private jets, but like you have your own plane. Like you can essentially like do what you want on the plane. You have like meals, you have drinks, like you have like whatever you need to have. And then obviously you're playing every single day for the most part on television. So especially now, every team has their own TV contract. So you're playing on TV every day. And then it just so happens that when you play in the AL East, you're going to play against Boston, you're going to play against New York 16 times each. You're going to be on TV a lot more than you probably expect. And just being able to play in those cities too, like being able to play in Fenway was incredible. The amount of history, the tradition that they have there, and obviously not this past year, but the year before, just the fan base that they have is incredible. And being able to like go inside the Monster and sign the Monster, that was awesome. So, being able to be pampered, obviously, in the big leagues is nice, but also being able to play against, like, the best competition in the world. It's a little different when you look up and all of a sudden you see, like, Dan Smith in the box when you're in low A. And all of a sudden, you're in the big leagues and you look up and you see Aaron Judge in the box. You're just like, holy crap, this dude's huge.
All 6'8" of them and those pinstripes that make them look even taller.
Wait, go back.
The same.
What was you said you signed Monster? What, can you explain that to me?
Oh yeah, so the Green Monster. So there's this. Evan showing how much
Evan
he pays
doesn't know.
attention.
Sorry, I'm paying attention.
So in Fenway, if you look at their left field wall, they have this huge wall that's green. So they call it the Green Monster.
Okay.
And if you look at it, when you look at that left field wall, they have a scoreboard where somebody's inside the wall, like literally putting up numbers. So like if the Orioles scored a run, they put up a 1 for like the Orioles, stuff like that, instead of like the digital scoreboard that everybody has now. But what a lot of people don't know is that you can actually, there's a door that goes in there, and there's people in there. It's all like there's signatures all over the place. And people have been signing in that Monster. I think the one I saw, the earliest one I saw was somewhere in the 60s.
Wow.
So
crazy.
people go in there and they sign it. They write like the date that they signed it. And so it's just like that tradition, which is just, you just don't really see anymore in sports. In baseball, you have Fenway and then you have Wrigley. But I mean, football wise, what's the oldest stadium in football, John?
Lambeau or Soldier,
right? Yeah.
Or one of the no, probably not even Soldier. Probably I don't know. I don't actually know, but probably Lambeau.
It's got to be Lambeau, right?
Yeah.
Wait, can I ask a question about the Green Monster real quick?
Yeah. What's up?
Did Manny Ramirez sign it anywhere near where he went in there to pee in between innings? Because I know that's true.
I should have asked that question. I should
look for his name by the door.
You should have signed right down by that and then did like a chalk line around where his pee would have been. That's one of my favorite stories about Fenway is Manny playing left field and going into the wall to take a piss. I think it's hilarious.
He's just a body out there in left field for the most part.
Yeah, he could hit though.
Sure
he could rate. He still can. I think he's still playing somewhere.
Is he in China?
He's somewhere.
Dude, I just saw him on Instagram for something. He was like at a Chipotle or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, man, nice hat. And because the guy was wearing a Boston hat, he goes, you like Manny Ramirez? Like,
Yeah.
oh, my God. Manny Ramirez. And the guy's like, I don't know.
Yeah. He just like totally blew him off.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, so like each level had its own like, in a weird way, things I enjoyed. Now, obviously, there's like a different can of worms of just like things you don't like. But that's like anything. But every level in the minors, every level, I guess, even coming up had a lot of fun things about each individual one.
I guess so. I know we understand there's a baseball creed, but what is the funniest locker room story you have?
Oh, cheers. Funniest locker room story. Unfortunately, there's something I would like to share, but I can't.
Minus
on the
5
spot.
I physically can't.
He plays the
but
fifth.
It's just
Just fake names, dude.
No, dude, it's just
So,
like
John, on
certain.
Okay, this guy named Davis Chris decided to.
There was just there was just a lot of God, man, just the personalities you have in those locker rooms, man. It's legitimately a bunch of 10, 11-year-olds trapped in like 25 to 35-year-old men. Like it's insane.
A lot of
How
pranks
we get
go
to
on.
play, dude. Pranks are always going on with players like between themselves, but even like coaching staff and players, like stuff is always going on. And especially in baseball, like you have to be able to keep things loose and fun because like you have to get not accustomed, but you have to get used to like failing. Whereas like the game will mentally just drag on. So you got to do something different every day to just be excited about coming to the ballpark. Like for example, like we would always play hacky sack in the outfield, like before we would stretch, just to go out there and have fun. In the minors, sometimes we would throw a football around and do stuff like that. Like in AA, we actually like had a playbook, and our strength coach had like the playbook on his list that he would yell out as we're going down, like playing beforehand, before stretch and whatnot. But it's a bunch of kids, or I shouldn't say that. It's a bunch of grown men playing a kid's game, and then legitimately you are being a kid. So like the same way I would like to say, like the same way our track locker room was, or our baseball locker room was, like back in school. That's the exact same way our locker room has been since I was in college. Nothing's changed.
Got it. All right. Understood.
In the end, you gotta have fun, right? I mean, what's the point if you don't have fun?
Dude, you have to. The amount of times where something happens on a baseball field and it gets brought up the next day, like in the locker room, like people get worn out about it, but it's just the way to keep loose, the way to keep you humble too. Make sure you don't think you're as good as you actually are, or think that you don't screw up. But
like how we texted you when Nelson Cruz took your ass deep.
yeah. It's funny you say that too, because one of my buddies sent me a text the other day on Instagram, or a message on Instagram, and he said he was just trying to learn about hitting, and it was Nelson Cruz talking about. I'll actually send it to you guys, talking about how he tries to like hit the ball when it's up high, trying to hit it just for like a line drive, so I try to get underneath it to create angle. And as it's like 30, 45-second clip of him talking about it in the batting cage, and then the next clip is literally him hitting one off of me, dead center in Camden Yards.
That's
Is it on YouTube or something?
Like, dude, I can literally send it to you guys like right now. I'll send it to you so you can actually put it in here. But it's like it's like in my major league debut, like, hey, I just grinded. I went through 3 arm surgeries to get to this point, and oh hey, no big deal. We're just gonna hit one 450 off of you, dead center.
Dude, that was the most epic, like, welcome to the show moment.
Yep.
We're like, because you had such an amazing first inning when you came in, man. You crushed it. And then the second inning, we're like, yeah, he's coming back again. And then Nelson throws that ball. We're like, oh my God.
Lord, yeah.
Welcome to the show, buddy.
It's so cool, man. It's so awesome you made it. I mean,
that was like that, and I will agree with you, because I laughed at the end of it. Like as he's running the bases, I'm laughing because it's like, obviously I checked the radar gun to see how hard it was, and I saw that it was 98. Like at that point, it's like, hey, dude, like welcome to the big leagues. These guys can hit it a long way.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you throw it harder or just as hard as anybody else in the league. They're still gonna be able to turn on it because they're crazy.
There's this. It's just a different level. Like I said, you're playing against the best in the world. So
nice. I guess so. We have another question, but I think you may have answered it. Is Fenway your favorite stadium that you've played in?
No.
Okay, cool.
Fenway's nice because of the tradition, but I will say that the locker room is tiny. The dugouts are tiny, obviously, because we're like 6'5". Well, I'm not, but like it's just like it's so cramped. My favorite place I actually played, even like last year, was Colorado. I loved everything about Colorado.
I'm hyping you up on this moment right now. Evan has been to this stadium and John has not.
That stadium is awesome. So we went on a trip there, and Andrew and CJ got me to go to the baseball game. I was like, I don't know, and I'm so happy I went because that stadium is awesome, and I had an awesome time.
It's beautiful. And so there's also a couple things about that. So number one, like we obviously when we would show up to a new city, get there before like batting practice, we get there like 3 or 4 hours before batting practice. So we had some time. So we actually got to go to center field, check out like the monuments and all the stuff that they have, like the big like fountains and everything by the bullpen. And then actually the cool thing was going up to the third deck. If you're on the first baseline, you can literally see the mountains from the third deck. And there's also, I don't know if they had it when you went, Evan, there's a yellow line on the third deck that wraps around the entire stadium. Did they have that there? I don't know if you paid attention
Third
to
deck?
it.
Yeah, there's one, yeah.
Right?
So it's exactly a mile high.
Oh,
I never
that.
paid attention to that. That's
Yeah,
really
that's
cool. I
cool.
wish I knew that.
So
there's
small
just
things
so
like
much
that.
to
And
do
then-
there. It's crazy.
And that's another reason I liked it is because like I love Denver as a whole. And so I loved everything between the city, like the stadium. Obviously, I played pretty well there, so that helps out too. But everything in general, I love Colorado. And there was something. Oh, that was what I was gonna say. So that stadium was actually built a year. It's either before or after Camden Yards by the same architect. The exact same architect. It's either a year before or after, but they just made the updates like over the years because it looks like it's a brand new stadium. It's beautiful.
It was really nice.
Did you feel any different being at like a higher altitude?
Yes.
Balls feel
So
heavier?
no, not to that point. Obviously, I heard like the ball flies.
Which ones?
Oh, really? Okay.
But the ball in 2019, Major League Baseballs were flying anyways, but they weren't juiced.
No, they weren't.
Yeah, they weren't juiced. But just jogging in from the bullpen to the mound, I was legitimately out of breath. So either I was just completely out of shape, or obviously being that high up did something, because it was like literally like the last warm-up pitch I was throwing, I was like still breathing heavy, and I had to like just like stop for a moment, catch my breath, and then go on and trying to compete.
Well, I've heard comments from NFL players where they say they're going to play the Broncos, and it's like after a couple plays, it feels like you're breathing through a straw because you're not used to that. Like it's just it's a completely different thing. And luckily, I've been in the same sea level for an extended period of time, and I haven't had to experience that because I don't know how my lungs would do. But yeah, no, I've heard that from like everybody. I didn't know it would affect. I mean, I guess it would affect a baseball player, but I don't know.
We did a short hike when we were out there, and we were dying.
Define short. Define short.
Like short, like
walked up
500
like
steps. Like, like we're like, let's get back to the Jeep.
I mean, I love that place. And I have a buddy that lives out in Longmont, and so we actually got to visit Colorado a couple years before I played there. And so even then, it was like it's flat, it's open. Obviously, you see the mountains pretty much everywhere. It's a cool place to go now. Obviously, it's super expensive now because everybody else loves it too. But that was by far my favorite place I played.
Nice.
By far.
What's the coolest piece of sports technology you've used, like cryo chambers or like anything like that? This is definitely an Evan question, by the way.
Yeah,
this question is sponsored by Evan.
I wrote that question, and you kind of touched on it a little bit ago in the beginning, where you're saying that they're starting to use sleep trackers on you guys now. So what else like is out there that's like state of the art, medical technology used to keep you in prime shape?
So, I mean, dude, there's a lot of different things that we have just in our training room alone, from just like the lasers and the different just type of Theraguns, like all that equipment in the training room just to get you on the field is nuts. Like we even have like a treadmill that it looks like I don't even know how to explain it. Like you're in like the bottom half of an astronaut suit that you can literally run in, that like helps take off like a certain amount of pressure on your legs. So like as you start to rehab, instead of getting in a pool and running in a treadmill in a pool, you can get on this actual treadmill that kind of helps alleviate some of the pressure or body weight. And so you can slowly just like normally get back to running. I thought that was pretty cool. But like for me, at least in what I do, why am I drawing a blank right now? It's the same thing they use in golf right now.
A simulator?
A TrackMan?
TrackMan, thank you. The TrackMan data, like they're starting to put them into. Yeah, you get points for that, John.
I'm the one that decides the points here, okay? You tell us whatever the fuck the TrackMan thing is for baseball, I'll assign the points.
So, and they're starting to put this data up on like the scoreboards everywhere in Major League Baseball, but it essentially like it'll track exit velocity, so how hard the ball comes off the bat. It'll track launch angles, so like the trajectory of where the ball's coming out as it leaves the bat. It can calculate estimated distance for like hitting, but then pitching wise, it'll do velocity, so how hard you're throwing, it'll do spin rate, which is the big thing now. Everybody loves to see how fast, like whatever they're throwing is spinning. And then once you start getting even into more detail, you can start like putting a ball. It'll like just like you'll throw a pitch and a ball will spin with like axes coming through it, and it'll show you exactly how the ball is rotating through the air. And so Trevor Bauer does a really good job of explaining this, and this is probably why he, one of the reasons why he won the Cy Young last year. But he's actually able to like create pitches that help better suit his arsenal of what he throws from his arm slot by using this technology. So he's able to kind of like throw a pitch and then see how it's spinning and then see how it's going to break. And then from that, he's like, okay, well, I want it to break, X, Y, and Z. Okay, well, now I can move my hand. I have a camera that's showing me how it's coming out. Well, now I can start manipulating it, and I can create what I want to create instead of just trying to, like, throw and field time. Yeah, essentially guess. So it's getting very precise with what guys can do with this technology and how they can use it in the game.
Any, like saltwater chambers that, like, feet pumping oxygen, and you're just, like, floating there?
Like, you ever seen the movie Wanted? When they go in like the wax like pools and they come out and they're like healed. Like,
and how do you get me into one of those?
So the Orioles don't have one, but the Yankees do.
The Yankees probably have stuff that I've never even heard of.
That nobody has heard of.
But yeah, they're like so I want to say you're right with like the salt tanks. It's essentially like a sensory deprivation. Is that what it's called? I want to say. Essentially, you just float. That's all you do. You just float. And apparently, it's supposed to help with just like, aggression, calmness, anxiety is a big one, and it also just kind of gives you time to think. So I know guys have done it, but we personally didn't have one. I know guys have like the chambers, the big
cryo chamber.
They're like big eggs. Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah. I know guys have done those in the past, but I don't know if they've, if anybody's done it recently since they've seen Antonio Brown's feet.
I'm gonna buy one off the Craigslist.
Probably.
It's probably not a good idea.
I'll do it.
So like guys, like at least with us, guys have done those things, but like for the most part, we have a lot of like Theraguns. We have like huge ice tubs, hot tubs, cold tubs, and then just different gadgets that help with kind of just keeping us on the field.
How many ice baths do you take a week?
Oh, I got in a routine. So my pregame routine was I would contrast before every game. So I was doing it 7 times a week.
Wait, what was the question? I'm sorry.
How many times do you ice bath a week?
Oh, 7 times a week?
Yeah, I would contrast before every game. So I go in the cold tub for 3 minutes. I go in the hot tub for 2. I go in the cold tub for 3. I go in the hot tub for 2. I go in the cold tub for 3, and then I finish up in the hot tub before every game.
Dude, I was such a soft bitch. I would get in that ice tub for like 2 seconds. I'd be like, nope, that's it, I'm out.
You had to give it a week. You give it a week after, because like the first week, it's like it takes like 2 or 3 minutes for your entire body to go numb, and it's brutal. After that 1 week, though, it's within 15 or 20 seconds, you can't feel a thing. That's all it is. Just simply go outside for 3 minutes right now, and you can do it yourself.
No, I'm good. I think I'm going to pass on that. Thanks, Well, with you doing this contrasting, what other superstitions? Did you have any other superstitions that you had, or I guess, did you have any superstitions? And then what is the weirdest one you saw throughout your career? Like, I know Gausman used to like eat like 12 donuts, right?
Donuts, yeah. His big thing was donuts. So he would eat. So that was the big thing with Gausman was he, like when he was in college, would eat like a pack of donuts before every start. That was kind of his superstition. I didn't have any superstitions. I just had like a routine. So like the contrasting, for example, was my routine. The weirdest one that I've ever seen is I had a teammate once, depending on how he would play, would wear his underwear underneath his sliders, like the underwear he wore to the field underneath his sliders. And then if he played well, he would shower, but he'd just take his underwear off, shower, come back, put the same pair of underwear on, and then wear it the next day.
I bet that smelled good.
Oh my God.
That's been the weirdest one I have literally ever seen. And with baseball players, like there's like you'll have ones where like they won't touch like the white line, they'll put their shoes on, their spikes on a certain way. But that was by far the strangest one I've ever seen, by far.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Well, what's it? Sidney Crosby's worn the same like jock strap since like high school. It's
People do
crazy.
some weird stuff, man. I guess whatever mentally they had to do to kind of get them ready to go. But that ain't me. That ain't me.
Fair enough. Well, I guess the other question we have. So with you being from Frederick, the news broke a couple weeks ago that the Frederick Keys are no longer the single A affiliate of the Baltimore Orioles. It's actually Aberdeen now. So we're not really sure exactly what's going to happen with the Keys. I've heard they may be a semi-pro team.
Okay.
But how do you feel about that?
It's tough, man, especially just for like the city of Frederick. The city of Frederick supported that team very well. Obviously, when I played there, people loved coming to games, but even like before I played there as a kid, going to those games were awesome. I think, and this is like just my own opinion, I think what kind of did them in was just the facilities. So like the fact that players had to like go through like the stands to kind of go to the clubhouse. The fact that like, the batting cages and everything just weren't kind of like on par. I think that's kind of what did them in. But at the same time, man, like I love playing there. I know a lot of other guys when they would come to play love playing there. The city enjoyed it. I mean, it's obviously Frederick's an awesome city, but at least we'll be able to be some affiliation with baseball. But I know they're gonna miss being tied with the Orioles, especially just because the amount of talent that's come through there, and they're like 45 minutes away from Baltimore too. So that's a tough one. But Aberdeen is beautiful. I've always said it, and granted, it's also like the newest one of the affiliates. But Aberdeen, they very similar, great stadium, fans love it, and the travel's not going to be that bad also. So.
Yeah, Aberdeen's a little bit closer, right? And is it a newer facility?
Yeah, so that was, I forget what year it was built. I mean, I remember playing there. John, we played there, in 2000?
Don't ask me that.
2000 something we played there.
Yeah, no.
It's only like, it can't be no more than 15 years old.
It's not 20 years old. I know that.
No chance.
It's not 20
and
years old.
so it is beautiful. And like I said, it's more updated. The facilities are a little better just because it is newer.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like, if there was a way that Frederick could have like put some money into that stadium, I think it would still be around. Especially when you're comparing it to some of the other affiliates that are in the system too. But at the end of the day, they got kicked to the curb. Yeah. So it's tough. I know I'm gonna miss it. I know you guys probably will too. Well, maybe not Evan, but
I worked there. I worked there actually.
Evan was an employee.
I was an employee there.
He was bossing his future wife around.
Yeah.
Hey, you do watch.
She actually just commented in the chat, R.I.P. Crab Shack. We used to work at Crab Shack. I was the manager there, and she was my employee.
Yeah, that's right.
I made her all the money in the dishes at the end of the day.
That's right.
And that's the last time Evan ever bossed around Melissa.
Hey, that stadium is less than a mile as the crow flies from my house, and I won't miss the fireworks. But no,
are they like not playing there like anymore? Like, there's no.
They're gonna have like I don't think they've decided really yet. It's like a semi-pro team or something like that, a development league. I don't know.
Oh wow, okay,
it's weird. I know. There's a bunch of opposing hitters that are thankful that the Keys are no longer an affiliate, just so they don't have to hear John in their ear for the 9 innings every single day.
That's only when you were there.
Last time we went there, John got us kicked out.
With the audience?
We were going there to support you, BK, and John got us kicked out.
No, only I was asked to leave, and I still blame Joey Gallo. So Joey Gallo, if you're out there, it's your fault.
He's so loud. I've never seen Andrew more uncomfortable in his entire life.
No, it wasn't me. It was Danny.
Was it Danny? I forget who it was. Someone was super uncomfortable.
I thought everybody was uncomfortable. That was my whole plan. Great. I wanted to make the other team uncomfortable. I had the manager of the other team looking at me from the dugout, going like this, and I was like, "Okay, I win. I'll do whatever I have to
winning,
do
that's
BK."
for sure. Everyone was like being so mad at you.
All these poor parents take their little kids to enjoy their first baseball game, and meanwhile, John's like 8 shots of Fireball deep and 12 Coors Lights.
I did. Hey, I never said one vulgar term. I did look up some guys' girlfriends on like Twitter and Instagram things.
Of course, that's the go-to.
I didn't say any 4-letter words, nothing like that. But it's like it's a mental warfare. It's mental warfare, and I was trying to help out my friend that was trying to get pushed up to Baltimore. Okay, so I don't want to.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I appreciate that. I will say this. So I know this. Oh, actually, well, I don't know. Do you have a question about like chants or taunts or like fans heckling me?
No, but tell us.
No, buddy, you can write the questions. That's fine.
I don't have one.
5 points taking over the podcast.
So I don't have one. But my freshman year back in Virginia, we had an outfielder named Johnny Barr. And he told me this story. This was right before we go on the road to ECU. And he's telling me about the year before they're at Ole Miss in the Super Regional. They beat Ole Miss to go to the College World Series. And it's like I forget which game it is. It might have been game 1 or game 2. And he's telling me about how there's like this little kid who's probably like 10 or 11 years old with his dad right behind him. And the little kid he's like, hey. So Johnny turns around, looks at him, and goes, hey, what's up, buddy? Nice to do it. Hey, I'm Johnny. He goes, hey, Johnny, are you on scholarship? Johnny's like, it's like, yeah, little man, I am, man. Why are you asking? He goes, well, Johnny. And his dad apparently just like looked at him, gave him the biggest high five and the hugest hug. And Johnny just like walked away defeated. So that was the story I had before going to ECU, where I'm just expecting to get heckled out of my mind. Which actually something there also happened that I can top that one with.
It's like you've been heckled so much, you like don't even remember.
It's like not even me, but just like people around these. And so there was like a bunch of fans. Like this is like before the game starts, and this is my very first college baseball game. And as he's walking by, this guy looks over and just goes, "Hey Ahmed, where's your magic carpet?"
Oh, no.
To you?
Jeez.
To me and to my teammate, I'm sitting there going like, this is my first baseball game. Like people literally have no filter.
Wow.
Where was this game? Where was this game?
This was at East Carolina.
Oh, that makes sense.
Who gets heckled more, the pitcher or the batter?
Oh, geez.
Good question, Evan.
Wow.
Give him points for that.
Oh,
jeez.
That is it. I am done with people telling me when to assign points.
Oh, man. That's actually a good question, Evan, because simply as pitchers, like, we're not out there all the time. So if you're not doing very well, you're going to hear it. But hitters have to hear it every single time they take the field. So they go on, they come off, they go up to hit, they're on first base, they're on third base. Like, so I'll have to say, like, position players are always getting heckled from somebody. And it's always just like, it's always a grown man doing it too. It's never like a young kid. It's always a grown man. Except
for John.
Grown man.
I was not a grown man at the time. I was only 20-something.
With a lot of fireball in him.
That's awesome. All right, BK. Well, we're going to jump into the next segment. We got a good one for you. We have a baseball version shoot, marry, bang game. So we're going to call it strikeout, hit by pitch, or give up a home run.
Okay.
So are you ready?
Okay. I think I get this. Yeah.
It's essentially the same thing. You're either going to strike them out, you're going to hit, you're going to beam them, or you're going to give up a home run to them.
Okay.
So I'm going to start first. I have to relook at mine because I forgot. All right. Michael Scott, Kenny Powers, or Ricky Bobby?
Oh, dear Lord.
That's really good, Andrew.
Don't give him points for that.
So let's see. I'm definitely gonna hit Kenny Powers. I love him, but I'm gonna hit him. I'm going to strike out Ricky Bobby, and I'll give up a home run to Michael Scott.
All right, why?
Michael Scott. Well, there's two reasons. So one is Michael Scott makes me laugh. like obviously when we were in Nashville watching The Office, that was the first time I started watching The Office. I was dying in laughter in season 2. So just to the fact that I don't think he could even hit anything, it's like, you know what, I'll try to lollipop one in there and let you hit and just run the bases. Kenny Powers, I think just because like the character, just the arrogance about him, I'm just like, dude, I gotta dot you. There's just no way about it. Like you're getting dotted.
Yeah.
And then Ricky Bobby's just irrelevant, so he's getting K'd.
Yeah, go grab some pine, buddy.
Yeah. So
But he pisses
like
excellence. He pisses excellence.
it's bad though. When you said Michael Scott, my mind immediately went to there's a basketball player who still plays in the NBA, but he went to the University of Virginia, and his name is Michael Scott.
Well, it wasn't him. It was actually like Steve Carell, Michael Scott. But that's all right.
No, it wasn't.
I like your choices actually though. The reasonings with them's really good too. I think I would have went the same way.
It's funny though. As soon as he said he would let Michael Scott hit a home run, can you imagine Michael Scott rounding the bases after?
Yes.
It would take like 10 minutes.
Wait, doesn't he throw a pitch in the?
What's he doing the basketball episode when he's like, "Oh my!" Oh, that's awesome. All right, who's next?
I'm next.
Evan,
all right, ready,
you're
BK?
next.
So
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jackie Chan, or Bruce Willis? Best actors alive, by the way.
What version of Arnold Schwarzenegger are we talking about here?
Ooh, that's a good question. Let's go Predator.
Predator. Okay.
Yeah, definitely Predator.
Oh gosh.
Jackie Chan, Rush Hour 2. Bruce Willis, Die Hard.
All right, so I'm going to definitely not hit Arnold Schwarzenegger because
You don't want him charging them out.
so I'm gonna strike him out because he's just gonna be too buff to be able to swing a bat. He's just gonna be too stiff. I'm gonna hit Jackie Chan simply because he's gonna catch it.
You better hope he kills him. You better hope he kills him.
It's not gonna touch him. He's just gonna catch it. He's gonna catch it and he's probably gonna throw it back to me. He's gonna go to first base. And then I'm going to give up a home run to Bruce Willis. Just because he's the third option. I have really no other reason.
He's gonna hit the home run and he's just gonna say, "Die Hard is a Christmas movie."
I think Bruce Willis, if he did hit a home run, he would beer league softball it off, where you don't have to round the bases. You just get to go back to the dugout, and he's like, "I'm good."
He doesn't even go to the first base; just walks off.
Just grabs a fresh Bud Diesel off the sideline and sits down.
Well,
all right, John, your turn.
I'm glad I'm going last because
I have no idea.
mine aren't nearly as fun. And now that I have them on paper, you don't have to answer them if you don't want to. But mine are Jim Foyt, Brian O'Connor, and Brandon Hyde.
Wait, John, hold on real quick. I almost did this.
High school, college, and professional managers. Jim Foyt, Brian O'Connor, and Brandon Hyde.
Oh man. Let's see here. I'm gonna hit Jim Foyt. Here's my reason why. And if Danny sees this, I'm sorry, but he never gave me the coke that I deserve when he would hit the fly balls as far as he could, and if you tracked it down, you could get a coke. I never got one.
Okay.
So
I'm joking.
He's getting hit. I'm going to. Oh, this is a tough one. I'm going to strike out Hyde, and then I got to think of my reasoning before that because I'm gonna give the home run to Oak because Oak was the one who I wasn't really a huge recruit coming out of college. I blossomed my senior year because obviously I can't say I wasn't a huge recruit and get drafted out of high school, but my junior year I was like so, and University of Virginia, like Oak still gave me a scholarship to come play for him, and just because of the potential. So he gave me like the original opportunity. So I can't I'm giving him the home run. I was actually just talking with him the other day, like legitimately 2 nights ago. I was talking with him. We still keep in contact. He's always been there for me. So he's gonna hit the dinger. And then just because, like I said, Hyde's the odd man out. He's hitting home runs in his day. So, he's good.
Fine.
That was a good one. That made me think. I like that one, John. I still want that Coke.
Oh, that's
I
great.
still want that Coke.
I still want that Coke, Jim.
Plus 25 for me for him liking my question.
I just tried to put together the best 3 athletes I've ever known. That's why I asked those 3 people. All right, we're moving on to the segment 3. What's trending? John, take it away.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to do this. I wrote that in there.
Yep.
Dwayne Haskins. Originally, it was reported it was a strip club. Turns out it's not a strip club. It was a private party that apparently it looks like it involved, exotic dancers. The Washington football team is in the middle of a playoff push. There are obviously COVID regulations in place. He has already broken that one time. You're on that team, BK. You've been in a professional locker room before or a clubhouse. It differs from sport to sport. It's still the same exact thing. One of your best players or someone that you're supposed to rely on that has a C on his chest does that. What do you and the guys do?
Well, first off, for me, I'm probably blaming myself because in the same situation that I heard this, I'm still trying to figure out how the heck that dude's a captain.
Hey, trust me, you should see what's on the other side of this hat. This is a football team Santa hat. This is the same guy who got his first win and before the game was over was taking selfies with the fans. How does that earn a C on your chest?
We just lost all of our subscribers.
Yeah, we did.
How does that get a C on your chest?
I never agree with that from the beginning because I felt it wasn't earned. Apparently, coaches and players were like, we trust this guy and we like him, and they wanted him to have that C.
Right.
But it's like time and time again. It's like, come on, man. Yeah, that's one of those. And and like I said, I don't know. Actually, I did go to school with Morgan Moses, so I know he's probably taking care of it. But it's like the veterans on that team literally need to get up in his cheeks, if you know what I'm saying. Especially it's one thing when you're putting not only your family but then other guys' families in danger because some of those guys could have family members that have underlying issues that could become dangerous if they get sick. But then also like you said you're in the middle of a playoff push. When was the last time Washington was in the playoffs? I don't want to
2015.
It's 2015.
Right. Oh, right. Argini got it.
So, but it's been a hot minute. And for this guy to essentially, be given the keys to the Cadillac, hey, this is your team. Go take us there. Like he was at Ohio State. To be able to reward them, your ownership and your coach by being like, hey, I'm going to go do what I want to do and he's 22.
Yeah, he's 22 now.
There's certain priorities. Hey, dude, wait 2 months and then go do it.
Yeah.
Give yourself some time. It's going to be there in 2 months anyways. Go see what you and this team can do because in that situation too, this might be the only shot that some guys on that team ever get being in the playoffs.
Yeah. And there's a lot of guys on that team that have been there since 2012 when RG3 did everything he did for us and took us there. Maybe not a lot of guys, but a couple. I can't imagine Ryan Kerrigan.
Yeah, dude, that sucks.
I know he's the kind of guy that I know we're around the holiday season here where most people want to spend time with their families. I know a lot of people on this team are not spending time with their families because of what's going on. And then you have someone on the team that it's like, look, our quarterback is hurt and you have to come in and do this. And then you're doing this on a Sunday night after a loss to the Seattle Seahawks where we could have possibly clinched.
Well, think about this too.
It's like Alex Smith, dude. He's gone through.
Yeah. And then Ron Rivera just finished his cancer treatment. The head coach of the team.
That's awful.
It's selfish,
It's selfish, right? Yeah.
It's selfish. But like I said, in that locker room setting, the coaching staffs can say what they can say, but it's really the team. And if that team, I'll tell you what, this could be a turning point for them because if that locker room is very close knit, because sometimes you guys understand how it is. Like when you're close friends, like when you have to have those hard conversations and you need to be real with somebody, like it's not easy, but it's like, I'm doing this because I care about you and I care about what's going on. If that team is as close as it should be to be able to make that playoff run, this is actually going to help them go forward, if that kind of makes any sense.
Do you know what team you're talking about? Do you know what team you're talking about right now?
I'm talking about the team that doesn't even know what to be called.
I cannot believe the team is going to make it.
I can't believe what they're 6-7.
Yeah.
So they are, and they're in first place.
Yep.
How bad is that division?
It's really good. It's the toughest division in football. It's the most competitive one, at least.
I will say
right now.
I would say this: that defense that Washington has is the truth, and Chase Young is an absolute stud.
And if we waste it over the next couple of years, I'm gonna hate myself for another decade. But we can move on. I just wanted to ask you about the locker room implications, that kind of thing. Let's go to the next thing.
That was good. The other what's trending thing. So apparently, Spotify is creating an AI bot that's going to ruthlessly judge you on your song choice go forward. So it's in the coming 2021. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of worried about this because I have a couple guilty pleasure songs I like to listen to. So, BK, what's some of your guilty pleasure songs?
Dude, I'm pulling Spotify right now.
I don't even have Spotify.
Dude, I love it. So I want to say, my top 20 songs from last year. So this actually just kind of shows you that my top 3. So number 1, Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. Number 2, Chasing You by Morgan Wallen, a country song.
I love that song.
Number 3, Intentions by Justin Bieber.
That's a good song.
But like it goes all over the place. But I'm gonna say like my most did you ask my most embarrassing one?
The one that you like play by yourself. You won't really play it around anyone else.
Oh, dude, I'm an open book. I'll play any song around anybody.
Okay.
Then what's the one you sing in your car when you think no one's watching with your tinted windows and
BK
everything?
DJ'd the party
Mike
boss
Jones.
at Andrew's wedding.
Who?
It was awesome.
Mike Jones.
Who?
No, so a couple years ago, I would say Taylor Swift was a big one where I was just like, I'm gonna rock this one. But even now,
Taylor
like,
Swift.
Good.
I'm trying to think. I'd probably say like any type of country song for the most part.
Yes.
But yeah, I like everything, and I really don't like if somebody's in my car. I'm like, hey, this is what I feel like listening to today. I'll throw in some oldie stuff. I'll throw in some new stuff. I kind of like.
You haven't said one embarrassing thing yet, by the way.
BK, if you like country songs, look up "Drop 'Em Out" and listen to that song. You'll really like that one.
I wish you guys could see my eyes. They've just been rolling.
I'm literally looking through my Spotify right now to try and find one that.
All right, Evan, what's yours?
Well, I don't have Spotify, but I need to get it because I think Joe Rogan moved over to Spotify now, and now I did literally on my drive like all this week. I was commuting to work. I was like, I have 0 podcasts to listen to. Joe Rogan hasn't posted anything in a month. What the heck's going on? But
he moved over.
Yeah, he moved over. So like I have to listen to music on my car ride. And so it's a playlist, and I've had it forever for like the last year when we started the running challenge. It's called It's Lit playlist. So I listen to whatever's on that, Andrew.
So
do you want me to put on? No, I don't. I'm not gonna put on a song.
Can you just say one?
Say one embarrassing artist.
So I don't know if this is embarrassing for me. The Downfall of Us All by A Day to Remember.
Like the movie with Mandy Moore?
No, like this is like hard rock type of song.
Like Disturbed type of shit?
Like let's see if let me know if you guys can hear this.
Oh no, don't play, we'll get DMC'd.
Yeah, don't do that. We'll get in trouble.
Okay.
Copyright laws.
Not doing it.
It's
All
okay.
right,
Anyways, check it out. Downfall of Us All, but it's like a hardcore stuff.
Papa loves mambo.
All right, John, what's yours?
Don't listen to music, but my guilty pleasure song when I do that I love to sing and I know all the words to is "Love Song" by Sarah Bareilles. I'm not gonna write you a love song, cause you. Oh wait, no, you can still get copyrighted for that.
No, it won't.
Yeah, it's bad.
Your voice isn't that good, John. Come on, don't.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, I wasn't even trying, so
Okay.
plus 10 for not trying.
Guy didn't even show up today. Oh man.
Andrew,
That's awesome. Yeah.
so you're gonna do yours, but I am gonna let you guys know this is the most detailed, longest scoreboard in the history of the Quadcast.
Nice.
So
Wait, I have a real question. John, what's our subscriber count up to? Because
We're at
this is big news, everyone, because last week we were at 10.
we're at 19. I'm looking at it right now. We're at 19.
Almost doubled it up, baby.
So Andrew, you give us your song, maybe it'll boost us up to a little 20 spot.
All right, can I just go with an artist? And this is a little embarrassing, but I just really don't care.
Yeah, do it, please.
Probably like late to mid 2000s Kelly Clarkson.
Never
Like
mind.
since you've been gone, like tell me you don't like that song.
It's like saying probably like Avril Lavigne.
It's a
Hey,
good-
hey, don't say negative things about Avril Lavigne.
Oh.
I told you it's my embarrassing
Who's
one,
the guy
dude. That's
with the
it.
red hair?
Avril Lavigne.
No, the guy that he was in Game of Thrones. I like his songs. I guess
Clay Aiken,
that's my guilty pleasure. No, my
Oh,
guilty
Ed
pleasure was
Sheeran.
In
Ed
Sync. I
Sheeran.
got their CD.
Ed Sheeran's actually really good.
Ed
Dude,
Sheeran,
he's a
yeah.
stud.
Ed Sheeran's awesome. That's not embarrassing.
I know.
No.
Oh, I would say, what's his name? It's like I'm literally like pulling up my Spotify like right now.
Stop.
All right, lead us into the scores, John.
All right.
Oh,
Okay.
good looking.
Wait a second. This is a
Scoreboard,
lot.
baby.
This is a lot.
You took a lot of points. I saw you.
All right. That's
Oh, wow.
all the scoreboard. All right, I'm gonna do it really fast though. Okay.
All right, let's give
I'm
it
gonna
to
start
us.
with Andrew. I'm gonna go to Evan, BK, and then myself. All right. All right. So Andrew, you got +6 for Brooklyn. Arnaldo, +20. Awesome
Where
transition.
Brooklyn at?
+20. Awesome transition. Seriously, good job with the interview. You put the whole thing together, and then I gave you another +5 for interview. Then you got minus all of them for assigning points. My job. +5 points for Shoot, Mary, Bang, and then -5 for Kelly Clarkson, so you finished with 0. Evan, you got +5 for Rockies, +5 for liking it, +5 for a question, minus all of them for something, plus all of them back for your Shoot, Mary, Bang, and then minus all of them again for it's lit. So you finished with a 0.
Okay.
Do I have something else? So I was also thinking about this when I said it, but when you did the Shoot, Mary, Bang thing, was your third, when instead of Bruce Willis, was it supposed to be Bruce Lee?
No, it was Bruce Willis.
It was Bruce Willis.
Evan is always Bruce Willis. Never.
Okay,
Never
sure.
Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so
He's
Andrew,
never seen a Bruce Lee movie.
after the scoreboard so far, Andrew and Evan both have 0. Now, this is where it gets complicated. Someone help me keep count. BK got -5 points for bribery, +2 points for dates. Oh, knowing the dates of your first start. +10 for being a baseball teammate of mine. Good job. +3 for Arnaldo. -3 for ruining content by talking about Fenway Park before we asked you the question about one of your favorite places to play. -5 points for confidentiality when you wouldn't tell us your locker room story. -10 for ice tub. Oh, you said ice tub for a week. No one could survive in an ice tub for a week. An additional -5 points for something else. +5. That's a Coke. That's a Coke. And -5 for calling the Washington football team a Cadillac, and -10 for country music. You are way down in the negative, buddy.
-18.
23. It's -23.
-23.
I got -18.
Okay, well, it's not absolute value week, so you're in trouble. And then I got +10 for Trackman, +25 for good question, and +10 for not trying. So I come out with a 45, and I win again.
Man,
Man, I'm good at this.
I'll win it one day.
Give Evan some points for being a broadcaster when we first got on the air.
Oh, yeah. Here, wait. Let me assign those right now. Plus 44 points to Evan.
I got
Still,
Evan beat me by 44 points.
You should probably
today.
deduct
That's
some points from yourself for not adding that in.
and then okay, I'll do that. And then that means Wait, no. Oh, the pen ran out of ink.
That's
I
my
win.
mistake for not having a backup pen.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, BK, the lowest score ever on the Quadcast with a minus 1,000 for telling
Stick
me
it,
what
lock
to
it
do.
in. Oh God, I'm on zero sleep. I love it.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
I
that's
win though.
awesome.
So
It's
take
okay.
us home now.
All right.
Do I
Well,
get it?
hey, BK, big thank you for coming on the Quadcast. We appreciate you fulfilling the Quadcast and giving us all your interview answers and everything like that. So, again, big thank you to you. Anything you'd like to finish up with? Last words?
Just thanks for having me on. I appreciate it, gentlemen. Look forward to being able to listen and to watch going forward. You guys are doing a great job, so keep it up.
That's really nice.
Thanks, BK.
I'm crying
Thanks,
behind
man.
these sunglasses. Thank you.
All right, everyone out on the
That's
stream
awesome. Evan, take us home.
everyone out on the stream will see you next week. Make sure you come here and watch us live. So, bye.
Live.